Hey Buck, how are you?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, really good. Great to see you early on a Saturday morning. What's your weekend got
Yeah.
planned?
Mate, not much. Only got home from Townsville last night from work, so I've got 2 weeks off now. I've got a couple of weeks off, so Roz and I are going to go away and enjoy a bit of us time, mate. We don't see much of each other. I'm away 6 months of the year working, so and when I'm home, she's normally working. So we got to take every opportunity, and that's why it's hard to get out camping together sometimes. And this isn't going to be a camping holiday. We just want to go away, stay in a nice hotel somewhere, and have some us time, mate. So yeah,
Yeah,
not much this weekend. Probably get the lawns and all that done and whatever before we take off next week. And yeah, it'd be
nice.
good, mate. Looking forward to it, eh? Looking forward
How's
to
the
a break,
weather up there? Is the weather a
mate.
bit cooler?
Mate, yeah, it's starting, mate. It's still warm during the day, but it's not bad, mate. We're getting into camping weather soon, which I'm excited about. The one big disadvantage of North Queensland, mate, is summertime is like it's a write-off for camping, mate. It's just too muggy. It's too hot.
Yeah,
You can go out and do it, mate, but it's unpleasant. It really is, especially at night time trying to sleep in a tent. I did it with my grandkids a couple of years ago, and I thought, nah, that's it. Too unpleasant, mate. And I mean, if you can get near a water hole, nice shady spot, and that you can get away with it. But boy, it's steamy, mate. It's not good tent weather in summer up here,
yeah.
but it's not far
I,
off,
I,
mate. It's
I used to live up in Singapore for 5 years, so I know all
yeah,
about the humidity. You literally
yeah.
can't go outside there, right? It's you go outside and your clothes are soaking wet, and you just can't wait to get back indoors. Then you freeze to death in the aircon. So there's no happy medium. So,
That's not
but
too bad.
So, but 7 years ago, this normal Aussie bloke from far north Queensland stuck a video on YouTube talking to us about Camelback water filters. Fast forward 7 years, nearly 500 videos on YouTube later, 18,000 subscribers, and you've got a couple of videos hitting numbers like 177,000 views. Mate, how do you reflect on that? Amazing.
A lot of people always ask me, Dave, why'd you get into YouTube? You know why I did it, mate? And this is the honest truth. I was working down in the prison, and I was working with a few boys, and there's always banter and that going on. And I thought, I'm going to do a YouTube clip and give the lads something to laugh at, and a chance for them to take the piss out of me even more. And I actually did one on and I thought, what am I going to do it on? I just got that Camelback all clear UV filter, which I still use to this day, mate. I've still got it in the
Right.
dot trailer, so I can filter. It's just an extra precaution, mate. So the last thing you want to do is get sick out when you're out camping. So I thought I'll go out to a nice little freshwater stream out there in the rainforest, which is only 15 minutes from home here, and I did the clip because my son and I were going to go up and have a crack at the Kokoda Trail. I've done Kokoda before, mate, and it didn't come off. Something came up. We never did it, and I wouldn't be up to doing it now, that's for sure. But so I went and did it, and the boys they took the piss out of me, had a laugh at work, and one of the lads said, "Mate, that wasn't too bad. Do another one." And I recorded it on an old iPad, mate, and it was filmed in 144p, like when we now talk about 4K and 1080. That was filmed on a potato, mate, that clip. It was that grainy and that. But I just went on from there, and I thought this is a good little hobby. I enjoy doing this, and I got the gift of the gab, mate. And I think that's important if you want to get behind a camera or in front of a camera, I should say, you got to have the gift of the gab, mate. You got to be able to string a few words together. You got to come across confident, and I owe that to the army, mate.
Yeah.
Being able to get up in front of people as an instructor, run a weapons lesson, run a navigation lesson. You had to have confidence in the army to get up in front of people. And that's where I got that skill from, mate. A lot of people go, geez, you're good in front of the camera. Well, we didn't get in front of cameras in the army, mate, but we did have to get up in front of people and do lessons and instruct people and all that type of stuff. So that's where I got it from. But I enjoyed it, mate, and I went on, and I forget what my second one was. It might have been a little follow-up to the Camelback All Clear. And I thought, I might make a go of this and do it as a hobby. And you've got to pick a subject that you're interested in, mate. And camping was it for me. I love camping, and And I was more into four-wheel driving back then. I had the old Nissan Terrano, and I like to get out and do some four-wheel driving clips and all that type of stuff. So I've gone away from the four-wheel driving so much now. I'm more into the touring and the camping side of things now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a massive part of your channel is your personality, for sure. I think, you know, being a Pommy myself, you know, when I think of an Australian, you're the true blue Aussie, and it really comes across, I think, and that's why people love the personality behind your videos. And yeah, you're dead right. I think having that personality to talk to people is a massive thing. I'm getting some really good comments about the interviews, but also equally getting ripped by the old man back home. Thinks I'm, you know, asking me if I'm Larry King or Michael Parkinson or something, giving me a lot of grief at the moment. So
no, it's good, mate. And I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying your interviews. They're really good, mate. And it's good to see you interviewing. You're not trying to go out and interview Ronnie Dahl and all the big boys straight up. You're interviewing the little fellas like me and Scotty from Exceed Campers and that, mate. And it's good to see you're interviewing the guys that bloody like yourself, mate, that would just do it as a hobby, and it's good. And keep up the good work, because you do some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, me and the wife and our kid, we get out in our dot camper and stuff, but I don't have a lot to say. But I love what people are doing in front of the camera, and I love, you know, people like Scotty at Exceed have an awesome product, and they just need a bit of a platform to get out there, because it's bloody hard, right, in this day and age. And so you know, I sort of say to people, it's not really about me in the interviews. It's definitely about putting it out there and what people. And I guess the great thing about YouTube as well is you've got that back catalogue, right? Every interview we do now is there. If they're out there in the future, people can watch the older interviews, and hopefully it, you know, gives people an opportunity.
Absolutely.
So going back to your channel, so some of your most popular videos have been about gear. I think the really big one is the one you done on the Titan drawers and all the problems you had with them. But also, you know, they were my first drawers, and I bought those drawers because the value for money they represented at the time when I was trying to get into it. I looked at what you explained to us, what you saw was going wrong with them, how you felt sort of rebuilding them a little bit and just tightening everything up would make them better. And for me, that was, you know, I didn't have the money then to go out and buy the drifter drawers, and I wasn't even sure if I was into camping. But why do you think the gear videos have been, you know, the bigger hits? Is it just because people need that info at home?
Yeah, mate. I still do it to this day, mate. Like Roz and I, in the near future, hopefully, we want to upgrade from a camper trailer, because we're getting to that age, mate. We want to go from a camper trailer to a caravan. Now, I can't go to a full-size caravan. I don't have the shed for it. I need a pop-top, mate, to get it in through the roller door. We have spent a lot of time over the last 6 months researching pop-top caravans and looking at reviews. And that's one of the best things about YouTube, mate, is if you're looking at a bit of gear, you get on YouTube, you type that in, and a lot of times you strike it lucky, and someone will have that bit of equipment and will hopefully do an honest review on it, mate. And you've got to be careful, mate, that it's not people getting paid. And I'll put it out there, you know, your four-wheel drive action and all that, as much as a great show it is, those guys promote products, but it's only because they're paid to do it, mate. You've got to try and find people who preferably own the item, they bought it out of their own money, and they're given an honest review about it, the good and bad points and all that type of stuff. So we're doing that at the moment. And I think that's why a lot of my reviews, and that's how I started, mate. The first person that ever contacted me, I did a review on my 95-litre fridge, Evercool fridge, mate, fridge, the big yellow one, the big 95-litre. Still got it, still works like a beauty. I bought it off Australian Direct, mate, before Clayton went to his kick-ass range. Yeah. Clayton saw that, and he said, would you like to do some videos for me? But that got a lot of hits, mate, because people out there see someone who owns the gear, they're doing an honest review on it, the good points, the bad points, and they get to see someone on YouTube that's actually used the equipment. And I think that's one of the great things about YouTube is you can get on there, look up an item, and there's usually someone on there that got the same item you're looking at. Because let's face it, mate, before you go and put money down on an item, you want to know that it's going to do the job for you. And the best way to do it is you can read reviews on Google and all that. It's great. But seeing it on YouTube and someone who actually owns the gear, that's what it's all about, mate. And I think that's why people, those Titan drawers, mate, let's face it, they're affordable for the average Joe. Now, I had some problems at the start. There was typical stuff coming out of China, mate. Some of the quality wasn't there, but it was able to be fixed, mate. It was just tightening some nuts and all that type of stuff. They're still in the T50. They're still doing the job for me, mate. So you can't.
Mine were perfect. I mean, I watched your video. The day I bought my Titan drawers, I took all of the bearings off. I re-greased the bearings and I put, blue Loctite on all of as I put them back in, and they never faulted once after that. So you're definitely right. Watching your video has kept my drawers working for years before I changed them out. And I only changed them because I could upgrade. I didn't need to, in all honesty. I changed vehicles and thought, well, I'll get myself a new set of drawers as well. But they were faultless. And you're right. It's I think that can be the problem with China, right? It's not sort of it's the build quality, right, that lets them down sometimes. With it's not the actual stuff; it's just the way they put it together. They don't pay the care and attention, do they?
A lot of it's minor detail, mate. The China, you can get some Chinese stuff, mate. And I know I've been on there and I rubbish China a bit when China started screwing Australia over. I went on a bit of an anti-China tirade there, and I was probably a bit out of line with some of the stuff I said. But, mate, some of the stuff you do get out of China, I'll use Kick-Ass as an example again, Australian Direct. Some of that Kick-Ass gear, that's from China, mate. It's good quality, like the solar panels and the other stuff that Clayton gets in. He doesn't buy in. He's the next step up from Kings, if you want to say that. But it gets people out camping, and that's the main thing, Dave, is that not everyone. Mate of mine said to me at work one day, we're having a coffee, bit of a lull on the battle there, and he said, mate, all my camping gear's Kings. He said, but if I didn't buy that, I wouldn't be able to take my family out camping. I can't afford to buy Snow Peak and Drifter and Uniflame and all that high end, a lot of the high price stuff. He said, I can only afford it. But he gets out on the weekends with his kids and he has a great time. That's what it's all about, mate.
Yeah, that was exactly the same for me. There's a certain mass of equipment you need just to be able to go out, right? You need a cooker, you need your tent, you need your utensils for cooking. So I was the same, I bought a lot of King stuff. I lived in Newcastle, so I was right near one of the super centres, and for me it gave me that opportunity. And then I think I went to my first Drifter event a few years ago, one of the camping events up in Gloucester, and I looked at my stuff and I thought, right, this is the level that got me out camping, which I'm really grateful for. And over the last few years, I've just been able to upgrade it for better gear. And I think that's a great start. And one of the things I've done is I've given a lot of my King stuff away to mates and to got new people into camping as well recently, which I think is, so everything has its place, in my opinion, for the market. And when you can upgrade to it.
That's right, mate. And not everyone can go out and afford the top end gear straight. You've got to build up, mate. I started off with an esky, a 2-man tent to take the kids out, putting ice in an esky and that, mate. Old school stuff. And you build up. And I think we all fall into the trap now, mate, where you've got to keep up with the Joneses. And we're all guilty of it. And if I can say one thing to people who want to get into camping, don't think you need to go out and buy all the fancy gear straight off the thing. You can go camping without a fridge and a lithium battery and all that. You can still put ice in an esky and go out for the weekend. There's nothing wrong with that. Just get out and enjoy the great outdoors, mate.
Yeah. So I guess what we're talking about gear, and now you've had a couple of years of, like you said, you've had the cheaper end and you've progressed through to the better stuff that you feel is going to be your gear for life kind of stuff, like some of your Snow Peak or Uniflame or the bags that Jason's been doing at Crazy Dog. They're absolutely fantastic. They look like they're going to last for 100 years. What would you say is like your top 3 bits of camping gear that when you're going out with Roz and Rafa, you just couldn't do without?
Oh, mate, and I'm going to stay away from all the fancy stuff again here, and I'm going to be realistic. Doing 20 years in the army, mate, I did some pretty miserable nights out bush, and I think the big one is shelter, mate. You got to have some decent shelter. Started off in a little 2-man dome tent, and that's fine. I still have problems now when it's raining. My awning, the super peg awning, it doesn't matter how good you think they are, they still let the water in. There's still places where it drips and all that type of stuff. My rooftop tent let some water in somehow on my last big travel last year down through the gorges and that at Porcupine Gorge. I think one of the big ones, mate, is shelter. Have a decent tent so you can get a good sleep at night. Obviously, you want to have something comfortable to sleep on, even if it's one of the portable stretchers or whatever. You got to be comfortable, and especially as you get older, mate. But the thing is, you got to stay dry. If you take your family out camping for the first time and they get drenched when it rains at night, they're never going to want to go camping again. I'll tell you now. So you've got to have a good tent, some good shelter, a good awning, something like that. So if it does rain, you can get through it, get up the next morning and go, okay, it rained last night, but we stayed dry. I think a chair is important. I still haven't nailed the chair down. I'm still not happy with my camp chairs. I've got a few different types, and there's pros and cons to all. I got the Ridge Rider camp chairs, very comfortable, but bulky and heavy, mate. You know, and it's trying to find that chair that suits. I've got the little Snow Peak chairs. They fold up really good. They're too low to the ground for me. I'll get a crook back in them. I went out and bought the Drifter Stockton director's chairs when they first hit the market. I'm not a fan of those either, mate. I find them flimsy. There's pros and cons to those chairs too, mate. I'm still to find a good camping chair. So if you can find a good one that suits you, do that. And I think you hit it on the thing, mate, is part of going out bush and going camping is you're cooking your own dinner, mate. You're not out there. You're not going to order takeaway and all that. You're out there. You're going to cook your own dinner. So it's important that you got something good to cook on. Now, whether that's a little butane stove and a $10 frying pan from Kmart, or you've got a Snow Peak fire pit with a grill on it, or you've got an Oz spit, just have something. But I think you've got to have something that's quick and easy and doesn't take too much stuffing around out there. If camping becomes too complicated, you'll get the shits with it and you'll lose interest in it. So just something quick and easy. Even if you've got a camp oven and a cast iron skillet, the old Ruthie skillet, which I've had for many years and still use it, if you can have an open fire and just be able, nice and easy, put your skillet on some coals and cook some sausages up for the kids and put it in a bit of bread with some onion, hey, you think. So I think, mate, shelter's a big one. Shelter, a good chair, you've got to be comfortable out there, and some good cooking gear.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think the other thing is just making sure that you've got provisions for toiletry stuff as well, because you see a lot of people get caught out with that. I think you don't have to pack a chemical toilet, but you definitely have to pack your shovel, and or if you're new to camping, hit the camping parks first, right? Go somewhere that has toilet blocks, and I think it's important to ease into camping. You shouldn't be like doing a 10-day bush trip for your first go, because you're going to get caught out. There's a lot to learn about batteries and solar as well. So I think if you're getting into camping, take it steady. Talking of batteries, if I was going to talk about game-changing stuff, for me, probably recently I moved over to put into 2 lithiums in my dot, and that has been a game-changing piece of kit for me. And I know you've just upgraded your batteries with the iTech World lithiums as well. You've got 2 portable packs, right?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
I think I've made some expensive mistakes with batteries, because when I probably didn't research enough. I went out to Super Cheap or BCF and bought a Century deep cycle battery first, which wasn't an AGM battery, so it was still lead acid. I cooked that because I didn't know how to look after it properly, so that was on me. I then had an AGM battery, and I probably didn't look after that properly because I didn't understand the charging around it, and I let it get too low too often, and found that was not working. And then when I bought the Dot, my Dot was like 5 years old nearly when I got it. So those batteries were always looked after great by the previous owner, but they were just at the end of their life. So my first couple of camping trips, I was enjoying myself camping with the missus and, you know, our kid, but I'm always keeping an eye on the battery, and I felt like I'm always checking my percentages and constantly paranoid about solar and things like that. And now with these 2 lithiums in there, oh mate, a whole weekend of camping, I look at it, it's not even used 20% without a solar panel out. Awesome.
You hit it on the head there, mate. I was always paranoid. You get up in the morning, the first thing you did after you had a tinkle when you're out camping is you check your AGM battery to make sure it wasn't below 12.2, which is about 50%, because they say run an AGM down below 50%, it starts lessening the life of the battery. You can damage the battery, all that type of stuff, mate. So I'm still new to lithium, but what I see so far I really like, mate. I've been running the Angle for 4 days while I was down at work, and I haven't seen that battery get below 90% yet, mate. Now, I've just been doing short trips from my house in Townsville to work. The car sits there with the fridge running for 12 hours, drive home, and you get back and it's on 98% or something after a 20-minute drive. And got out this morning, 92%. Angle's been running all night. You know, with the AGM, mate, it would have been, I'm down to 12.3. You know, you're always worried about your thing. But, mate, as we know, lithium, the biggest problem with it is the price. But it's getting in striking there. You get onto, and I know I keep plugging them, and they're a great company to deal with, mate. iTech World, there's cheap ones out there on eBay but I don't know. You don't know how good they are. But the iTech World one's 3-year warranty, mate, and if you get their 20% discount and all that type of stuff, it's starting to get down into striking distance for the average Joe, mate. Lithium, you know, you don't need to pay $1,900 for a 120 amp hour lithium battery now. They're down around the 800 mark. It's getting in striking distance, mate.
Yeah. For me, it's been the number one upgrade I've done on something that I owned already, but made an upgrade. For me, it was the lithium. It's just made camping so much more enjoyable, to be honest. Another big part of your show is cooking, and I think, especially with your American followers, right? They love the Aussie cooking, and they. Where did you get these skills? Is this another army thing that you've sort of brought back into normal life, or is it just natural, or is Roz standing behind the camera telling you what to do?
Roz has been right there a lot, mate. Let me tell you, on the coconut curry chicken, she was on my right-hand shoulder giving me strict instructions. But, mate, I can't say any of this is from the Army. Funny story, mate. When I went through basic training in the Army in 1982, I'm colourblind, so I was very limited to what jobs I could do in the Army. Like, I couldn't be a bomb disposal bloke in case I cut the wrong colour of wire and all that type of stuff. So I could only go to 4 different corps. I could go to Medical Corps, Ordnance Corps, which is logistics and that, Signals Corps, which is communications, or Catering Corps. And I thought, I'll go and be a cook. And they wouldn't allow me to be a cook. They reckon I was a pig at Kapuka. And they said, you're not going to Catering Corps. So I ended up going to Signals Corps doing communications type stuff. So I can't thank the Army or do any of that to do with cooking, because the Army had nothing to do with that, mate. So I think being brought up as a parent, mate, and you've got young kids, as a dad, you've got to know how to cook. So if the wife's away or whatever, you've got to know how to cook for the kids. So it was like a force thing, you know. I think as a parent, you've got to know some basic stuff and be able to cook for your kids and all that type of stuff. Always enjoyed watching cooking shows. Jamie Oliver's my favourite. You know, like I always find myself watching cooking shows on TV. I've always been interested in it. I'm not a fantastic cook by anything, mate. I just love doing it. It's good fun. And for anyone out there, the best place to do it is out bush. So you can grab a camp oven and all that type of stuff. Camp ovens, it's not rocket science, mate. You can have a crack with a camp oven, and 99% of the time you can pull off a decent feed when you're out camping, mate, in a camp oven, can't you? You know, know the basics and that. And once again, go back to YouTube, watch some cooking clips, watch how people can cook a roast and some veggies in a camp oven. It's good fun. I just enjoy doing it. I've always been interested in cooking. I love watching cooking shows, and it was just once again on YouTube trying to find stuff to keep people interested in your channel. I mean, you can't just do the same old all the time. And there's some YouTube channels out there that they first start off and you go, oh, this is good, but then it becomes the same old. You've got to try and find different stuff to do to keep people interested in your YouTube channel. And everyone always enjoys the cooking, mate. I always get, when are you doing another cook-up, Buck? We love watching your cook-ups. And I was only ever going to do 1 or 2 cook-ups, and it was just a thing, but everyone enjoyed it. So every now and then I do a cook-up, and the next one, mate, it's pretty special. I've got a famous family recipe coming up, Uncle Mal's Crispy Chicken. And everyone's got to try that, mate. You wait there. It's the most beautiful sauce you will ever taste. It's a ginger and garlic-based type Chinese sauce over some crispy chicken with some rice, mate. It's going to be the bomb.
Sounds awesome. I better get myself down to Coles this afternoon to make sure I've got some chicken in the fridge. So I think a big part of your channel recently has been your live feeds on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening for me. Great to have, as long as the NRL's not on. I will point out you've had a couple of clashes, but no, the live feeds have been great, and we're getting some really good numbers and excellent questions. And I think you've got your brother Ken, the Gidgy Gorilla, helping you out with the questions and stuff. Apart from that, what's new for the channel? What's coming? Are you going to keep the live feeds going?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I've got to be honest, mate. I think my YouTube channel, it's not winding up, it's winding down, mate. I'm starting to lose motivation now. I've been doing it for a while. I've got a lot of other stuff going on in my life, and last year I was thinking about closing it down totally, but I still enjoy it. I really do, and I've had a bit of a break this summer from it, from the camera, because, and this is for people just starting off in YouTube, and I'll use, I think his name's Michael from Western Australia, from Seek Adventure. Do you know that guy? He's got a really popular channel, Seek Adventure, mate. Got 100,000 subscribers. One of the best little camping and adventure channels on YouTube, Seek Adventure. He come out there one day and he goes, guys, I'm winding it. I'm quitting. He said, I find now I'm going out camping and it's all about the camera. Everything I do, I've got to have a camera in my hand. And he said, it's just taken the fun away from actually going out bush and enjoying just going out bush and that. And I know Roz gets the shits with me sometimes too, mate. She just wants to go out camping and relax and that. And I've got a camera in my hand. And it's just, there's some times where you just got to put the camera away and forget about doing YouTube stuff and that. And I don't know. I just find I'm starting to lose motivation for making YouTube clips and that, but the live feeds is one thing I do enjoy doing. I love sitting with a beer and having 250 people on from all parts of Australia and also over the world. I've had people from Canada, United States, Mexico, sitting there, and it's like a real community thing, mate. And you're watching, and the live feeds are good because you don't have to know what you're going to say. You have a couple of topics. The people in the chat room generate the questions for you, mate. So you can sit there talking for hours just by the questions that the people ask and that. But I love the live feeds. Got to be careful now. Footy season kicked off last night, and Thursday night, sorry. And the NRL and the Aussie rules will be on soon. So I've got to be careful doing it on football nights, especially a Saturday night. Everyone wants to watch the football. So I love the live feeds. I'm getting, as you know, charity is a big passion of mine, doing stuff for charity. I don't do this YouTube stuff to make money for myself. A lot of people do. It's not me. I try and, the money I make off YouTube, I try and build that community, build the Mr Buckaroonie community. And let me tell you, mate, you meet some really good people. I would never have met you if it wasn't for YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You meet some real good people through YouTube, and I've made some bloody good friends through YouTube. It's a fantastic. And if you use it for the purpose, like any social media, mate, use it for the good stuff, not for the negative stuff and that. You can get some negatives. You get into the negative, and I've fallen into the trap too. People always trying to find controversy and all that type of stuff. Just try and keep everything positive, and you make some good friends in that. And we've had some good camp up, Mr Buckaroonie camp ups, and the DFCE I ran up here for Drifter at Lake Tinaroo. That was an amazing event, mate. And then I've had a couple of little Mr Buckaroonie get-togethers, which have been really, really good. But the live feeds are good. Mate, I've got a couple of things I want to do with the channel. One thing on the bucket list is I've got to back up to Nagi Island, which is a little island in the Torres Strait that Roz's mum was born and bred on. That little island. It's uninhabited now. I've been there a couple of times via helicopter. People can just type Nagi, Naghir, Nagi Island into my channel and they'll see it. And it's a special place. Roz's grandmother's buried on that island, her great-grandfather, a lot of great aunties and all that. A lot of history. We want to go back camping on that island, mate. That's going to be special. So before I close the YouTube channel down, whenever that may be, that's a must. I've got to get back up to that island, and I want to say I've camped on that island, and it's a real special place for me, because I know that Roz's family that's where Roz's family originated. The Mills family originated from that island, mate. So want to get down to New South Wales and do the beaches. We were going to do that last year, and as you know, mate, COVID's still hovering around. You just got to be careful with this COVID stuff. But I want to get down, do the New South Wales beaches, and we were going to go to Cape York again this year. And I don't know, mate, it might be a bit crowded. Everyone seems to be heading that way. Roz and I might just head out, do little ones by ourselves, little 1 and 2 overnighters, up on some cattle stations and stuff like that, mate. So, mate, but the live, I've got an exciting project. As you know, I've got the Hope in a Suitcase charity going at the moment. From the sale of these shirts, we raised $6,900. We topped it up to $8,000, and looks like we're going to end up with about 70 suitcases for the foster children, with all clothes and toiletries and all that, for Hope in a Suitcase, and a fantastic charity. Once that's out of the way, I've got another exciting project on the go, mate, and it's getting a fridge, some solar panels, a lithium battery, some 12-volt lighting up to Papua New Guinea, to a remote village up there that doesn't have electricity, so they can run that gear in one of the huts up there and turn it into a medical centre, mate. And I'm doing that in conjunction with an American pilot called Ryan, an amazing YouTube channel called The Missionary Bush Pilot, mate. I've been in touch with Ryan, and he's really keen. I'm going to get that stuff. That's my next project, is to get that equipment, get it to the Cairns International Airport. Ryan's missionary group from Papua New Guinea will get down and pick it up. And we're also in the process of getting getting some footballs done up with SMG Sports. Brett at SMG Sports is getting some footballs done up with the Mr Buckaroonie logo, In the Trenches with Kaz, who's another great little channel that does a lot for charity, and SMG. And we're going to get as many footballs and pumps as we can. And Ryan's going to land his plane in all these little remote villages in Papua New Guinea on the side of a mountain and kick a couple of Buckaroonie footballs out to the kids to play with up there. So that's my next venture, mate. My next charity thing is working in with Ryan from the Missionary Bush Pilot, and I can't wait for that. It's going to be special too, mate, that one.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely awesome. So, I mean, I think as a Buckaroonie fan, I really hope you do manage to find that balance between off camera doing stuff and to keep the channel going, because, no one's ever put anything like what you've just talked about on YouTube, right? And that would be such a shame to see the Buckaroonie channel shut down when there's opportunities to do stuff like that. So, I think you have a massive impact on your fan base, actually. So it would be, as a big fan myself, it would be really sad to see it close down. So I hope you think on that one for about another 10 years and mull it over.
I'm not talking about the next couple of months, mate. I'm still going to be around, but I've just got to be careful that it doesn't interfere with other things going on in my life. I've got work. I'm away from home for 6 months of the year. So the last thing, I get home and then I want to go out and run around with a camera. I've got to spend the time with Roz. I've got the housework to do, all that type of stuff, mate. So it's good fun. You got to get the balance right. And always wondered, I thought, blokes like Graham Cahill and Ruthie and all them, they never reply back to their fans. And I know why now, mate. It takes up a lot of time. I still try and reply to as many people as I can, but as you get more popular, it becomes harder, mate. It takes up a lot of your time. There's a lot of time spent. A lot of people ask me, how much time do you spend behind the computer, Buck, for your YouTube channel? A lot. And I find now I don't get time to watch other YouTube channels much. I'm always doing a lot of stuff to try and get mine, especially around charity time and all that, mate. It takes a lot of time up. And you'll find as you get more popular, mate, it does. It takes more and more of your time up. So you just got to get that balance and don't neglect the family too because you're doing YouTube.
No, for sure. I think my missus will not let that happen. You know, I wouldn't want to compare her to Meghan Markle, but she's a bit stricter on me than her. So,
she's creating some controversy at the moment, that girl. But anyway, we're not going to go. I don't want to talk about that.
No, a lot of people have been asking me, being a pommy, what do I think? And I'll abstain from that question because what a whole great big baloo that is. But yeah, anyway, but look, it's been awesome getting to talk to you, taking some of your time up on Saturday morning. I know you're a busy man, and great to talk to you, and just thanks for what you do for the community. Even as a mate of Scott's, thanks for what you're doing for Exceed. It's the things like that are firmly placing you as a bit of a legend in your fans' eyes, even if you'll never admit it. So, awesome.
Before you go, I've got some exciting news on Exceed Campers, mate. I was talking to Scotty. I don't know if you know this or not. I was talking to Scott the other day, and as you know, he's just sold his first trailer, mate, which is great news. It's the start of what we hope will be many. And I was talking to him, and he was still putting AGM batteries in there, and he said, mate, I've got I think it was 180 amp hour AGM battery in the trailer. I said, how much does that weigh? And he goes, it was a phenomenal weight that for a small trailer that it was really eating into the ATM of that trailer. I said, mate, why don't you go lithium? Why don't you look at putting lithium in your trailer? I said, why don't I hook you up with Jordan over at iTech World, have a chat with him? And he said, I'd love that. So I rang Jordan at iTech World in Western Australia, and I said, there's a great little Aussie company out there. He's just starting off, Aussie-made camper trailers, blah, blah, blah. Jordan goes, that's the type of guys we want to work with, is little companies like that, mate. Put me in touch with Scott. Yeah. So I did. They talked within the next half an hour, and Scott rang me and said, you wouldn't believe it, I've got a 200 amp hour lithium battery coming from iTech World tomorrow to try in his demo trailer. So he's getting rid of the ATM. In goes a 200 amp hour lithium from iTech World. The person who ordered the first trailer off Scotty, he rang him up and said, would you be interested in upgrading to lithium? If you're spending all this money on a camper trailer, why not do it right from the start, go lithium? They went, do it. Put a 200 lithium in. Scotty got on the phone to Jordan over at iTech World. Send 2 over, mate. He said, I've already sold 1. So that's how it works, mate. 2 little Aussie companies are now working with each other, and the end result, the person who's getting that Exceed camper is saving about 180 kilos of weight out of that trailer and getting a better battery, better power, all that type of stuff. It's a win-win for everyone, mate. And I just love getting involved and trying to Crazy Dog, iTech World, Exceed Campers, letting people know what's out there, mate, giving people options. That's what it's all about. So that was the exciting news for Exceed Campers, mate. And some more exciting news, you might see some YouTube clips in the very near future of me and Scotty together doing some YouTube clips on his camper trailers, mate. There, I'm letting the cat out of the bag. No one knows about that one.
That would be awesome, I think... a walkthrough would be great to see, to show people the quality that you're producing. Also, just one last thing. I saw the Crazy Dog Mr Buckaroonie Army duffel. How cool is that?
Oh, mate, the other story, I won't keep you too long, but Jason Hogan, guys, from Crazy Dog Canvas. It's him and a lady. It's a little 2-man show. It's not, you know what I mean? And he's doing rooftop tea. He's always worked with camper trailer companies. He's worked with Drifter, doing the walk-up hardtop and that. But as you know, Drifter don't do that anymore. He worked with Jono's Camper Trailers. Macca from Jono's Camper Trailers. they're not around anymore. So Jason said, I need to have another income source. He said, I've always wanted to do canvas bags. So he's doing them, mate. And let me tell you, they're good quality. And he said, why don't we do a Mr Buckaroonie, something with Mr Buckaroonie, like a novelty thing? And I said, well, being ex-Army, mate, it'd have to be an Army duffel bag. He sent me up a demo, and I said, nah, it's got to be tougher than that, mate. You can't have 12-ounce canvas. It's got to be tough. So he said, righto, get this one into you. He's done one up, 16-ounce ripstop canvas, Aussie-made, wax converters canvas, mate, and 16-ounce. They make truck tarps out of it, and it's going to hit the market next week, mate. And it's got the Buckaroonie leather tag on there, a crazy dog, an Aussie flag. It's a tough-looking bag, mate. I haven't got one yet, but I can't wait to get it. And I tell you what, the price is going to, for what you get, the quality of that bag and the thickness of the canvas, that'll last a lifetime. $89 and free delivery. They can get on my Facebook page, mate, Mr Buckaroonie, and see a photo of it. It's a bloody good-looking bag, mate, and be great for camping and all that type of stuff. So,
Yeah, no, that looks awesome. 100%. I'll be getting an order in for one of those next week. They look great, and yeah, I think I'm still using my original Hannibal tent on my dot trailer. So, you know, I really love that because it's about 2.3 by 2.1. It's a massive tent, and it's great whilst we've had the baby. But I think, as you know, for me, I still hate that wet pack up if it's wet. So I really want to go over to a hard top, and I'm definitely eyeing one of the Crazy Dog hard tops. They look awesome. I probably would have gone for a drifter upgrade, but you know, obviously Luke's not doing them now, and knowing that Crazy Dog was working with Luke on those, I feel like it's going to be the same sort of quality as what the drifter one is. So yeah, I'm definitely on that.
Yeah, no, Jason's still doing them, and mate, top bloke. He really is. And as I said, a great little Aussie company. And, you know, mate, if you go over to one of his rooftop tents, Aussie canvas, Aussie made, you know, you can't lose, can you? So it's fantastic if you go over that. But nothing wrong with the old Hannibal tents, mate. They were one of the original ones to put on their trailers, wasn't it?
Yeah. I absolutely love it. It's just if I go away on my own camping, it's a bit hard to put out as a one person, actually. Just the fold over is a little bit difficult. If it's me and the missus, no problem. And like I say, I love the space up there, but yeah, sort of a hard top design similar to what you've got would be great for me until I get a bit older, and no doubt I'll go to the caravan route at some stage. But I just can't bring myself to putting something like a King's tent on my dot trailer. It's not worthy of it. I'm not knocking the Kings again, but you can't put a King's tent on a dot trailer. It just wouldn't be right. So
I really did that, but I couldn't get the bars on top of the dot 7. When my son had a King's tent, he said, I don't need it. It only been used a couple of times, but I couldn't get the things till I would have to do some major redesigning to the bottom of that tent to make it fit on the dot trailer. But mate, I just love that walk up hard top. Everything's got pros and cons, mate. Nothing is perfect, is it? When you're camping, there's always nothing is perfect, and people will get to learn that. Might have 10 good things with it, but there might be 2 little things that you don't like about it. And if anyone ever invents a camping item that is perfect and has got no cons, I want to know about it, mate, because everything's got pros and cons, and you've got to weigh up what's best for you. There's no, like, what I camp with may not suit you, mate, because of your family situation and all that. But I do love the 2 latches and go like that, and you can dive into a hard shell thing. I like the walk-up hard tops that are on the drifter trailer. They're good. My only complaint is the weight of them, mate. I think they need to be lighter. But anyway, besides that, they're good, mate. We have a thing. And the only trouble with rooftop tents, mate, I know as you get older, the old bladder isn't what it used to be. I got to get up for 6 pisses, right? And you're down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Roz gets the shits with me, always waking her up. You going for another one? Yeah, sorry about that. Drinking a dozen beers around the campfire before you go to bed doesn't help either, mate, does it?
No, I know. I was trying to figure out a way of putting some kind of hose tube attachment, you know, so I can just. But no, I don't think.
A bottle with a screw lid on it or something.
Yeah, the missus is wondering where her funnel's gone out the kitchen.
Yeah, not a good career move, that one, mate.
No.
Good idea.
Hey,
All right,
but
mate.
great catching up with you today. Really appreciate your time, and hopefully we can do this again in 6 months or something and talk about what's new.
Mate, I'm always up for a jibber jabber, you know me, and hopefully we'll meet you at a camp up somewhere one day, mate. We can meet up and have a beer together and at some sort of camp up. I'll let the cat out of that for next year. Rather than have a Buckaroonie camping event up in North Queensland, it's a long way for people to get up here, mate. It's a big country, this one. I'm thinking of having it down around Brisbane, probably Bluff Creek or whatever, so that more people can get to it and they don't have to travel as far to get to it. So I'm going to travel down there and you know what I mean? So I'm not doing one this year. Hopefully next year we'll be back to normal, mate, and I can have some sort of get-together down there. And it doesn't matter what you camp in, whether it's a two-man tent or a bloody $200,000 zone caravan. Everyone's welcome to my stuff, and it's just all about getting good people together, sitting around having a chat and having a good time, mate, and meeting new friends.
Yeah, sounds bloody awesome. We'll be there 100%. If it's, Brizzy, we'll be there. No worries.
Oh, mate, thanks very much. I really enjoyed this, and keep up the good work too, mate. You bloody on the interviews. Yeah.
Love it, mate. Cheers. Keep going. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. See you, everyone. Bye now.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Thanks for watching another interview. That was really good. If you'd like to be interviewed and want to come on the show, email's on the bottom of the screen. Give us a shout. Cheers.